There are few things in life that can truly bring us together. Few things that can lift us to our feet and bring us to our knees. Few things that can be analyzed, internalized, socialized, even spiritualized. It gives us identity. It gives us purpose. It makes us believe. There's nothing better. To the sickos, the diehards, the supporters, the hooligans, to the rowdiest, the most obsessed, the fans. For us and all those like us, it will always be sports over everything.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, presented by our friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. And we are live from Studio K. Got the point right. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. Yeah, you may have noticed there was no sarcastic quip. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of sarcasm. No stupid jokes. We'll get to stupid jokes. To start the show today, no, we are launching a new initiative here at PHNX in All City called Sports Over Everything. And while a lot of places will throw slogans out there that don't mean anything, this is a recommitment to what we launched this entire project with and about 4 years ago to try to make things more fun for you, the sports fan, to be the place that you can come and you can gather and you can talk about sports and Arizona sports when things happen, when you are frustrated, when you are elated, when you are confused. We're here in the moment, ready to talk about it, whether it's on our live streams, our emergency podcasts, our social channels, our Discord. We're here for you. And Sports Over Everything, and Arizona Sports Over Everything in particular, is our promise to you that we will be here throughout all of 2026 to do that and to be the place for you, because sports is our common language and it's the thing that kind of bonds us. And it doesn't matter what else is going on in the world. We live in a chaotic world, but when you're a sports fan, you can set it aside, come together, and talk about your team. That's what Sports Over Everything means here. It's what it means for All City. And I'm excited for what's to come in 2026. And it got me thinking about the Phoenix Suns. Quite frankly, 2025 was an abysmal year for a lot of reasons. I'll be quite frank with you, and I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you. 2025 was tough. As a Suns fan, it was one of the toughest years before this season started. Just difficult. From a professional standpoint, it was very difficult for me. And having, been in this industry for 20 plus years, almost 20 years, and covering the Suns for a lot of that, there were times that I sat there and I wondered, what the heck are we doing? Like, why are we a fan of a team like this, right? Because faith wasn't being rewarded. It was tough. We'd been through so much. And sure, we had the 2021 finals run, and that was one of the best moments ever, but we had a decade of slop before that. But this year has started to renew a lot of faith I have in sports in general. Because you watch what Jordan Ott's been able to do. You watch how this team's come together. You watch what it means to each of them every night on the court, how hard they fight, how they take pride in what they're doing, how winning means something to them like it means to us. That has inspired me. That reminded me why I feel so passionate about the Suns and why I feel so passionate about sports. And I think that starts, sure, it starts with Matt Ishbia, it starts with Brian Gregory. They set that tone. But day in, day out, and on the court, I think that starts with Jordan Ott. People say, oh, he's a savant. He's a basketball genius. He's a sicko. Aren't those, I mean, maybe not the genius part, but aren't those all things that, are said about us as sports fans too? That we're weirdly obsessed. We're sickos. We love, in particular, the Suns so damn much. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, but we're dedicated and we show up day in, day out. We cheer, we get pissed off, we get confused, we love and we hate, and we come together as one. And Jordan Ott has made the team like that. He's galvanized them. And I cannot thank the man enough for that, because it has made watching this so much fun. That OKC game, when the world didn't expect the Suns to be able to do anything. Hell, the last time you walked on a court with that team, you had the biggest loss in franchise history. You got your teeth kicked in by 50 points. Why would anybody believe that they could go out there and beat the Thunder? Why would those players have that belief? You know why? Because Jordan Ott has instilled it in them. Because Jordan Ott has taught them that every day you show up and you work a little bit harder. You put in a little bit more effort. You watch that film and you determine what that next step is, how you make things better. Here's the system and how we're going to succeed. Forget previous years where if you got your teeth kicked in like that, you wouldn't show up for 2 weeks. No, this team shows up night in, night out, just like you, the fan, that shows up night in, night out, ready to root no matter what has happened. Some people think we're crazy for that. And quite frankly, last year, I was starting to wonder if we were too. But Jordan Ott has reminded me why we are so passionate. This Suns team has gone out and reminded me why we're so passionate. Phoenix loves an underdog. Phoenix loves a bench guy that finds a way. Jamari Bouye, Jordan Goodwin, Colin Gillespie. These are guys that you look at, even Oso Ighodaro, a hometown kid that everybody said, look at, he can't shoot. There's no reason this guy should have a spot in the NBA or we should care about him. And instead, they've all become fan favorites because they embody what we are as a fan base. They embody the struggle, the heartache, the crap we've gone through. And they also embody the passion for the beautiful game of basketball. Sure, it can be ugly as hell sometimes. I mean, just go rewatch a game from last year. Hell of a lot of standing around, not pretty basketball. But when it's good, it's poetry in motion. We've seen that this year. We've seen that in a big way. And there are new players in that pantheon of great underdogs that we now are rooting for. In fact, this entire team goes into that pantheon of great underdogs we're rooting for. Like that 2009 Cardinals team that was the worst team to ever make the playoffs that made a run to the Super Bowl. The 2021 Suns that nobody expected to make the finals, or some wondered if they'd even make the playoffs. Hell, go back to 1976 and the Cinderella Suns, Alvin Adams, Dick Van Arsdale, Paul Westphal, a group of guys that never were supposed to make the finals and never were supposed to push the Celtics to the brink. The 2023 Arizona Diamondbacks. We love our underdogs. We got a new group of them, and I think Jordan Ott is one of those guys that is an underdog too. Coming in, everybody thought, oh, just another guy that Matt Ishbia likes because of where he coached. But he's turned this team into an impressive group that has done things that they shouldn't be able to do. Their defense is one of the top 10 in the NBA. Let that sink in. We have a basketball team that's predicated on defense. They're the best at turning over the ball. You know what those things are? At causing steals, forcing turnovers. You know what causes that? Hard work. Hard work. You can outwork talent. The Suns team has outworked other talent in the NBA. You got to respect that. You got to respect what Jordan Ott's been able to do, and you got to respect the fact that it's restored our faith in so much. I believe that, sports over everything seems like it's saying don't worry about the rest of your life. That's not what it is. It's about those moments that sports can rise above the other stuff, that it can bring groups together, that it can make people who have diametrically opposed views across the board forget that so they can cheer in unison. 18,000 people, shoulder to shoulder, cheering for one thing. Suns fans are doing that right now. Suns fans have stood up and have embraced this team because Jordan Ott started with those 15 guys and said, you need to embrace each other. You need to embrace the city, and you need to embrace the mindset that brings each and every one of you to the gym every day. Colin Gillespie on the Young Man in the Three the other day said that the moment that they knew that there was something special was going on was back in September when they were playing pickup ball. They had some local refs in the gym, and Dylan Brooks got 2 technicals right away, and then Colin Gillespie got one as well. That this team was going to be hard-nosed, that even when you come in and you are playing pickup basketball, there's no days off. And that is a big reason that Jordan Ott has been so successful, because he's done that. And he restored my faith in the Suns, and I hope he's restoring yours as well. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach. It's facial hair over everything on this program. Shane, how are you?
No, it's not.
No?
No.
I mean, you've got the beautiful mustache. I have a luscious beard.
Luscious.
We don't let people without facial hair on this program. I actually say that, and I don't think I don't remember if our guest after halftime, Tim Cato, has facial hair. So maybe maybe that'll automatically violate my rule.
Yeah. I don't think you're telling the truth. That's per usual.
Per usual. I mean, yeah, I'm full of crap. We know that. What do you think of when you think of sports and your passion for it, and what a good team, an entertaining team, a dedicated team, how it can galvanize a city in a way?
Well, the number one thing I think of when I think of sports as it relates to life is reprieve. Like it's an escape. And I think that's what a lot of people use it as. It's a time to not only not think about anything else, but also have a passion for something that you can't really have a passion for, that same type of passion for anywhere else.
Yeah.
And when it relates to a team like this who cares, and that's why they're succeeding, not because of talent, but because they care, that just makes you care so much more.
I don't, family, you get a very certain kind of feeling, that warmth, that love. But when you're in an arena of 18,000 people, it's such a different feel when everybody's in unison, right? Like to me, that's the ultimate of human nature. When you feel that buzz with all those people in one place and you're all in that same feeling. I've talked about it before, but I was at game 2 of the 2023 NBA final, or the 2021 NBA finals. And that moment, that buzz, that hope, that passion, that fact that we've been locked inside for so long and then we're together. I don't know if that electricity is something that you can get anywhere else in life. It makes you feel alive, and it makes you feel connected to humanity in a way. And I know that sounds so damn cheesy, but that's, to me, what it's about.
Yep. And then on the other side, I was at game 5. So you can feel that type of pain as well.
And pain as a group is a cathartic and unique experience as well.
Yeah.
We know it all too well here. Has Jordan Ott completely restored your faith in what the Suns can be and should be in this town?
Yes. It doesn't.
Is that a no?
It doesn't stop with him though. Like,
That's fair.
he has, but other people need to do their job too. We know this team isn't winning a championship. We know this team isn't winning a championship next year. But
do we? No, I'm just kidding.
But you can't, like, the coach can't build a roster.
No.
The coach can't make the game day experience what it is. The coach can't do it all.
So you're crediting Matt Ishbia?
No. I'm saying what we need support from all sides. And I'm not saying they're not getting that. We just need continued support. And we need to make sure that the future of this team is as bright as everyone is making it out to be. Because, Espo, it's January 7th, and we still haven't seen an impact from the rookies.
Yeah, well, and from Jalen Green.
Well, but that's out of everybody's control. I'm saying, as in terms of roster building, we were all very excited about the draft they had and the trade for Mark Williams, which has panned out. But the people that were worried about them drafting a center after that trade, so far they're right.
I think it's actually panning out exactly the way you'd want it to. You don't have to rush him to be a major impact player. You can let him grow and learn. Well, Mark Williams is helping you win immediately. And hopefully by the second half of the season, him, Rasheer Fleming, they can help fill some of those gaps. Because think about it. Your biggest weaknesses are an additional center in your rotation and a power forward that can rebound and play defense and maybe hit a three. That's Rasheer Fleming. That's Kaman Malawach. And then obviously pressure on the rim, and that's Jalen Green. You may not need to make a move because you've set yourself up for success, but to your point, you need to see it, and it needs to come together. So after halftime, I'm going to start calling it halftime on the program. We're going to meet halftime entertainment. It's me reading ads. And then we're going to have Tim Cato, our NBA analyst at All City, join us. He just dropped a brilliant piece. Yeah, I said brilliant. When it comes to the Phoenix Suns and taking a look at their success. We'll talk about it right after this. Got to tell you about my friends at Window Depot. I have, it's a new year. And that's when you start new projects, right? We all have New Year's resolutions. Well, one of mine is to redo my bathroom. And you're probably saying, Espo, why are you going to go to Window Depot to redo your bathroom? Because they are more than just a window store, right? They've got cabinets, they've got countertops, they've got everything that you need to redo kitchens. Any room in your house that you're really looking, bathroom like I talked about. And I can't wait to get into one of their Valley locations because they've been around since 2002. And they've taken care of all of their customers. And one of the best things is they have free designers that will help you create the bathroom, kitchen, whatever you're looking for of your dreams. And I need it badly right now because I'm getting kicked out of my bathroom and I got to move into the other bathroom and I want it to be nice. So I'm going to go visit one of their Valley locations, one of the 7 ones. And you can visit windowdepot.com and get started on your project today. I'm going to tell you about the husband and wife law team. I've been in an accident. I've told you about this. Luckily, it wasn't a serious injury, but I still had to get a lawyer involved, and I did not do my research, and I wish I had, because I would have found Mark and Alexis Breyer, the husband and wife law team, and I would have known that those are the people who I should have gone with, because they specialize in serious injury and wrongful death, and they're going to be able to take care of what you need. I couldn't get in touch with my lawyer during my process, and they guarantee that you'll be able to talk to your lawyer. Plus, they are certified. The Bar of Arizona only certifies specific people when it comes to wrongful death and serious injury. In fact, 1% of lawyers, and all the lawyers at the husband and wife law team are certified. So why not call them today? If you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our bio and tell them PHNX sent you. All right, we're back for the second half of the program, and I'm excited to welcome in Tim Cato, who authored the 3 Reasons the Suns Have Become the NBA's Smartest and Hardest Playing Surprise that you can find on gophnx.com right now. It was my morning read with my coffee, and I really enjoyed it, Tim. And I'm glad you have facial hair because we instituted a rule that only people with luscious facial hair can be on the program. So how are you this morning, Tim?
What was the origin of that rule? Who are you
Shane has
trying to
a
exclude?
Shane has a great mustache. I have a luscious beard, so we just decided that that's just part of the program now.
I like that. I like that. Well, I'm glad to fit into the vibe that you guys are curating over here.
What kind of when you were doing the research for this piece, what surprised you most about the Suns and what they've been able to accomplish and how they were able to accomplish this hot start?
Well, as I've been watching them all season and before this season, when I came on this very show and expressed some level of pessimism in the Suns, it was the idea that, like, what is this offense going to do? What is this offense going to be when Devin Booker isn't out there? And the Suns offense wasn't good enough last year. And obviously that team broke up for good reason, et cetera, et cetera. Don't have to go back too far back to it, but it was an average offense, and it was a very good offense when Kevin Durant was out there. And if you had told me before the season that not only would the Phoenix Suns be in about the same place offensively, efficiency wise, granted, league-wide efficiency has gone up. I think last season they finished 13th overall. This year they're 17th. But the numbers, like how much they're scoring per 100 possessions, the Phoenix is about the same as they were last year. And if you were to tell me that is all happening with Jalen Green not playing at all, just 2 games from him, of course, I don't know where I would start to believe it. And so I started digging in, and I was watching their games over the weekend. I watched their win against OKC. I watched the heartbreaking loss against Houston. Certainly have been keeping my eye on this. Very aware that Colin Gillespie has been awesome. That he is kind of he to me is at worst a top 3 most improved candidate. I knew all this, but as I started looking into the numbers and figuring, all right, like after beating the Thunder, that's kind of a, this is a statement win. This is a moment that it is eye catching. It is attention grabbing. And, so I just wanted to dig into the numbers of, like, why is the offense able to be about as good as it was last year, even though the pieces would make you think that's surprising, would make you think that wasn't the case. And it really came down to the fact that, yeah, this team doesn't get to the rim. Last year's team didn't either. But they've replaced so many pieces of what worked last season with, like Dylan Brooks has been an amazing isolation player. And even more importantly than that, like, this is a team that is shooting threes and they're getting offensive rebounds. And so if there's one thing that surprised me most, it was the offensive rebounding, and it was the style of offensive rebounding. And it's that the Phoenix Suns lead the entire league in the number of times they send they send players crashing to the glass. When there are, they send about 24 possessions per game or per 100 possessions. They send 3 players crashing after offensive rebounds. They're top 5 in the league in that stat in offensive rebounder rate. And this is something that we're seeing throughout the NBA. There are teams like Houston, like Boston, like Detroit that understand that they're not going to make every shot, and that's certainly the case for Phoenix. But what's the best outcome of a missed shot? You get another one that same possession, and that is something that very clearly to me, Jordan Ott. This comes from Jordan Ott. This comes from his philosophy. This comes from his style, and it's really working.
You bring up the offensive rebounding and what they've been able to do with that. This is a team that's extremely undersized, though, too. This isn't a big team. Does that make it all that much more impressive to you when you see that number of how well they're doing there?
It does and it doesn't. It does because, yeah, Jordan Goodwin is 20th in the league in offensive rebounding rate. He's the only player in the top 40 who's like guard sized. He's 6'3". And it's not like he's the first guard size guard on the list. No, he is 20th, and every other player in the top 40, most of them are big men, most of them are 6'8" and up. There's a couple players who are like 6'5" mixed in there. Like to have him be that good at that stands out. But on the flip side, again, like this is a team that chooses to crash this often. This is an identity, this is a choice, this is a style, this is a team that doesn't get to the rim, and so they do rely a lot on mid-range jumpers from Dillon Brooks and from Devin Booker. And I think there is a synergy that, hey, we can't get layups. Layups are the best shot. Every single offensive possession starts out, for the most part, with the hope that you're going to get a wide open layup or dunk. That is the best outcome to an offensive possession, because Phoenix knows they're not amazing at generating them. They're bottom 5 in the league at taking those shots. What they've decided, what they've realized is that Devin Booker's great at shooting mid-rangers. Dillon Brooks is shooting the best he ever has in his career, but those shots also aren't going to go in about half the time. So why don't you send more bodies, more people to go get those missed shots? It is very synergistic. It does make sense. Honestly, if there's something that surprises me, I have not boiled down. I don't have a idea yet why Phoenix can send that many players at the offensive glass, and they are also in the top 5 of preventing fast break points. Like, that's the thing that really jumps out to me, is that they're not being punished for this. That this just, they're getting rebounds. They're getting second chance points. They're turning a lot of those into threes. But they're not being punished by it, and certainly the defense is more of a factor into the success this season. But the offense is just what is shocking me, that it is as good as it is.
I think part of the offensive rebounding is the way they've been doing it, because they're forcing the opponent to actually have to be physical and compete for that board. So it doesn't allow for, that cherry picking or kind of getting back from the offensive side. But one thing I found extremely interesting in the piece was you talked about Devin Booker's gravity and where he ranks in the NBA. First off, how do they quantify that? And second off, he's 12th in the NBA. That is an impact that I don't think people really take into account.
First question, I don't know. I actually should. I've been meaning to reach out to the NBA and kind of get to the bottom of, okay, how did you guys come up with this metric? Because every once in a while, like the NBA, NBA.com actually does really interesting things. They have another stat called dunk score, and you can go see you can see how high players jumped on dunks. and so for example, like, it's cool to look at, like, okay, who jumped like 36 inches in the air to dunk this thing. It's also fun to look at Wembanyama, who sometimes only jumps like 10 inches. So the NBA has a lot of stats. I've been meaning to figure that out, kind of reach to them. But I can imagine it is similar to the Second Spectrum, motion tracking cameras that just kind of see like how much defenders shade towards a specific player. And I think that does really stand out. And so certainly Devin Booker is not using it to, this is one of his lower rim attack seasons. That is about to be expected based off his age. But it does matter that defenses are, paying attention to him. It does matter that they're shifting in his direction. And I think a lot of what he does, outside of the occasional toss it through somebody's, legs for an assist, outside of that, I think a lot of what he is doing is he is the person generating a top 10 3-point rate, or I think it's 11th. He's the one who gets into the paint methodically. And then because of the gravity, because opponents shade to him, he's the one spraying it out across the court and making sure that in the half court, players like Gillespie and Royce O'Neal and Jordan Goodwin, Grayson Allen, he's making sure that those guys get those 3-pointers up.
Tim, there's a reason this show is called Southwest Bias, because I do have a bias. But when you look at this as an outside observer and an NBA, writer, is this sustainable? Are these things that you saw in these 3 reasons things that are not fluky, but things that they can continue to do as now the calendar's turned to 2026 and we are in the back half of the NBA season?
So I would say no, but not in a huge way. I think it is slightly unsustainable. I think that I look at this team, that the schedule's been easy. It's on the easier side. I believe the strength of schedule rest of the season is 3rd toughest for Phoenix.
Well,
That's certainly a factor.
I beg to differ. If you go back and look from mid-November to mid-December, that was one of the toughest slogs that any team had to that point in the season. Plus, when you look at it, they've only really played Western Conference opponents. Before the turn of the calendar, they had only played 2 Eastern Conference opponents. So I feel like they were pretty well battle tested in that first half.
Yeah, totally. And they have great wins. Like there's no denying that. Strength of schedule left. It does say Phoenix is third toughest here on out. All that said, they have good wins, and the point that I'm working towards here is that I think Jalen Green and his return, and if he is everything that Phoenix imagines him being, that is going to push back against a lot of the small ways that I think the unsustainability might fall off just a little bit. Like Dillon Brooks, I think like there is an upwards trend in terms of his just as a shot maker, as an isolation player. He is trending upwards. He was better last season in Houston. Maybe he's running a little bit hot. But I do think he's going to be steady. But I think I just look around the roster and in a few ways that this team is running a little bit hot. Just getting Jalen Green back and somebody who is a hyper athletic, explosive athlete, a guy who is going to get that rim pressure. And I think that is something that can make, any concerns I have about the second half of the season. If you get the best version of Jalen Green, we're talking about a team that ceiling might be higher even than what we're seeing right now.
He is Tim Cato. Go check out his 3 reasons the Suns have become the NBA's smartest, hardest playing surprise. You can see that at gophnx.com. He's got plenty of great stuff in the hopper as well. Can't wait to read more, Tim. Tim, thanks so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
All right, before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to the bias in the chat, and I want to say hi to Red Feather Workshop, who had a super chat for $10. It said, the Suns' retaliatory flopping in the OKC game was hilarious. Finding modern NBA hard to watch, taking covered threes, not following shots, bank shot, a lost art, not pushing the paint, ticky-tack fouls. I understand some of this mentality and viewpoint when it comes to the modern NBA, especially for those of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s and saw a specific level of physicality, a specific level of paint play and the way that they approached it. I think the game has evolved in a lot of good ways. There's a lot of entertaining moments, and I think that the three-point shot has helped that. Now, the flopping, you're 100% right. I can't stand the flopping, but I also understand how some teams have to do it when they're not getting foul calls and your opponent's doing it. Not fair, not right, don't like it, but it's part of the game because of that, and I think they need to crack down on that front for sure. But some of this game is more beautiful than we saw in the past, and some of it, yeah, I'd love to see a little bit more physicality and paint play. I agree with that, but I think that there's a lot that needs to still be worked on, but a lot that is better in this game than it was before. I promise you, go back and watch some of those 90s games that a lot of us of that era hold in high regard. We did it here a couple weeks ago in the office, and some of it's very difficult to watch, and it's not just because it's in standard definition television. It's also because it's just hard to watch as basketball goes. Hit that like button on your way out. If you have not already become a Supporters Club member, hit that join button. It's $5. You're going to get emojis that are unique to just you. You're going to get exclusive videos and so much more. So please check it out as well. Chris, yes, he did say that. That's why I pushed back. It was not an easy schedule in the first half, but they do have a difficult schedule in the back half because guess what? When you play in the Western Conference, it's always tough. And that's just a matter of fact when it comes to it. A big shout out to the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach. You can follow him at Shane Dief. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Aspo. And remember, it's sports over everything because we love these teams. And when they give back that love, there's nothing quite like it. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.